Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. My name is David Pershika, and I'll be moderating this panel. And I'm going to start with our panelists here, experts in the field, and they're each going to introduce themselves. So we'll start here with Nestor.
All right, thank you, David. Thank you for being here. My name is Nestor Gandara. I'm Principal Partner Solution Architect at Amazon Web Services, based out of New York City. And I'm building, I would say, services and growing the business of their companies, helping them to transform their companies. And yeah, so this is what I'm doing at AWS. I've been there more than 5 years right now, but I have more than 20 years of experience on the IT domain.
Great, thanks. Go ahead, Adam.
Hi,
Sorry.
I'm Adam. I'm the founder and designer at Polyform Studio, where we design all types of consumer products for big brands, startups, enterprises, with a real focus on emerging technology. So AI, AR, all these different new and emerging tech.
And Roger.
Yes, good morning. I'm Roger Sands. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Wybot. Wybot focuses using AI technology on Wi-Fi automation. It's a real powerful technology. We're the leader in this space, automatically identifying Wi-Fi performance issues for enterprise customers around the globe, 24/7. Prior to Wybot, I ran HP's global Wi-Fi business for 7 years and been in the networking IT space for over 30 years.
Great. So we know that we have 3 experts in the field, and we're going to talk about this new technology that is on everybody's minds, regardless of what industry you work in, I think. So the first question that we have, and the topic of discussion is, in which specific areas does AI currently surpass human intelligence, and where does it fall short? So we'll start with Nestor's answer.
Sure. I will say there are several domains where the artificial intelligence surpass the human intelligence. For instance, data processing and pattern recognition is a specific area where the AI can process massive amount of data quickly, effectively, and also without having mistakes during the process. As well, where you have complex calculations or repetitive tasks. AI systems can automate repetitive tasks, such as, for example, data entry or image labeling, where the AI systems cannot get boring, right? So, and they can get fatigued or tired. So, without having specific mistakes or human mistakes or errors. There is also a specific area where I'm seeing, based on my experience, a lot of trend, that is the language translation and the document processing, where AI systems can process hundreds, even thousands of documents in quickly and in minutes, right? So it's something that is pretty impossible for the humans. These are the I would say main domains that I see now in the market, where the AI is surpassing the human intelligence. And I would say on the other side, the domains or areas where the human intelligence, the AI is falling short or behind the human intelligence, could be domains where you need feelings or you need personal experiences, where you need to create new things, and the humans are much better thinking out of the box and creating new things than the AI right now, correct?
Yep, next.
So I wanted to give a live example because we've had the opportunity at my company to go through the transition. What I mean by that is when I was at HP running their global Wi-Fi business, I would have engineers going on site, right, to visit hospitals, visit retail, warehousing, school districts, etc. around the globe, solving complex Wi-Fi performance issues, which I think we all agree it's the on-ramp to the internet, right? We're all dependent on Wi-Fi these days. And so it's business critical. We have patient monitoring systems, robots in manufacturing for automation. So it's an exciting space. The challenge with it is we have these intermittent, unfortunately, performance issues because we're talking about shared airspace. So for 7 years, I had my team out in the field, right? So we were doing this, solving these problems manually, using the latest equipment and technology. So that's when my co-founder and I left HP because we said we have to change the game. Right? We've got to move to automation. We've got to take something that's available in terms of compute, in terms of intelligence, and automate this experience. And that's what we've done. So it's exciting for us, me as the CEO and our team, to see what AI can do, right? This technology, because as you heard just a minute ago, we can process thousands and tens of thousands of packets per second, data that's flowing over the airspace. I can capture everything in this room from all the devices in real time and analyze it in real time. And when we did this manually, it would take hours and days and yes, even weeks to solve this challenging problem. So now when we see the AI in action, it's a game changer, right? So yes, obviously I wanted to give you that use case to show you that it's incredible technology. It's not for everything, and we'll talk more about this on this panel, but clearly it's a tremendous value, and we're helping global enterprise Fortune 500 companies with the AI technology to automate and streamline IT operations.
Great, but just to add on to the second part of the question, so where do you think that maybe it does fall short at the moment?
Yeah, I'm just going to second what was already mentioned here, and we'll talk more about that. Yeah. But you know, AI is based on algorithms and what was provided into the system from a computer point of view, and it's not the same as humans, right? Where we're observing and learning constantly in how we process information. As we get more into neural networks and stuff, it's going to get more advanced for sure. Mm-hmm. But today it's nowhere near where we can process and analyze because of our constant learning capabilities.
Great, thanks.
Yeah, these are some great examples, and you know, I gotta just echo what you guys are saying. Great for anything data related, and you've got huge packets of information that need to be, you know, analyzed very quickly and at scale. Super good. I'm in a creative field, so we design software, we design applications, and you know, there's not a lot yet in the automation of that type of work, but we can see it, you know, especially in marketing, you know, where you already have things like A/B testing, running the optimization of ad cycles, or, you know, various layouts for landing pages and stuff like that, conversion rates. These things are ripe for optimization for AI already, and the tools are starting to roll out now. When it comes to like visual design and actual UX design and UI design and stuff like this, I think that, or even physical product design, there's huge opportunity for AI to streamline a lot of those systems, because there's already great standards created by humans in place that these, you know, AI tools could come in and automate and streamline and optimize very easily. The tools, you know, in my field of design are still in very early days. You know, it's much better at ones and zeros and numbers for sure. But it's really exciting. I think there's a lot of creative people that kind of have their backs up against the wall, maybe more on the art side of things, you know, and I think that's where the tools are not living up to human intelligence or creativity yet. You know, you look at tools like Midjourney or DALL-E or something like this, where they're taking a lot of inputs from artists and art history and stuff like this, and kind of making really great imagery and stuff on the output. But it's just remixing what's already out there, right? It's not really creating anything net new. And I think it'll be a long time before it can do that. But I think that human AI hybrid workflows in art and creativity and design are definitely coming soon. And I think the outputs will be richer for it.
Yeah, I mean, I just attended this same conference in Dubai, and this topic, of course, was number one. And I think at the end of the day, what most people do agree upon is exactly what all three of you said, the hybrid, you know, because the AI intelligence is only as good as what is inputted into it. But at the same time, at this moment anyway, nothing can substitute for actual human interaction. But finding like the mix of the two is where I think the industry is right now, and that's very exciting with all of it. So that will lead us to our next question, which is, can AI truly exhibit creativity, as you touched on, creativity or imagination similar to humans, given that it operates based on algorithms and data?
That is a great question, and I think it's a tough question as well. I will rephrase that question a little bit, saying, can the AI or the algorithms, where the AI is based on algorithms and data, harbor the human intelligence creativity? So that is, I think, the key question here. The AI can build things, and they can, I would say, create new ideas based out of experiences and thousands of samples, right? So, but they are not, I would say, because there are some examples like artwork or music. They can create that. This is creativity. But at the end, they are doing replication of something. It's a mimic, okay? The AI, they don't have feelings. They don't have, I would say, personal experiences. They are getting examples, and based on algorithms, they are training, and they can produce something that is pretty similar. Sometimes we say, oh, that is really something new. They are inventing something, right? But at the end, the humans, we are much better on this space right now, on this domain. And I believe that, yeah, they are getting better, they are getting smarter, that is true, but still having this kind of gap between both, right? I don't know what my colleagues thought about that.
Good. So a quick comment here. If you think of innovative technologies that have taken place just in the last, couple of decades, when we talk about the smartphone, right, and just this innovative technology, AI is not there, right? I mean, AI, as we've talked about, has the ability to learn very quickly, to understand the data that's been fed into it, process it, analyze it faster than humans, etc. But when you're talking about, when I think of creativity, and we have an expert over here, but when I think of creativity, I'm thinking about innovation of brand new concepts, right? What's going to change the world and how we operate, whether it's in our personal lives, our work lives. And so when we're talking about this type of innovative technology, it takes obviously a human type of creativity to push the envelope to come up with these ideas. And, from my point of view and observations out there, we're not there with AI because it's leveraging, again, data sets and knowledge that we already have. And even though I can adapt to those data sets and knowledge, that's different than thinking ahead and saying, what's an innovative technology that's going to change how we live and work on a daily basis?
Yeah, I would totally agree with all of that. I think that when you think about creativity, it's often not just coming up with a new idea, but coming up with a new idea that is beyond the obvious. So we can take, Facebook, and everybody has dogs and loves dogs. Facebook for dogs, great idea. But and that's kind of how AI works today. It's kind of taking a bunch of different things, mashing them up. Here it is. It's just remixing. But then to kind of dive deeper down the rabbit hole of a new concept and discern something that isn't obvious at first, or the value isn't obvious at first, I think is right now outside of the realm of what AI can do or what it's optimized for anyways. That's an algorithm unto itself though, right? Like eventually we'll be able to say, like, take all these inputs, come up with these ideas, and then, discern what is like the least likely to be successful and put that against the most likely, and, model it out and see what happens. And we'll learn new things by using these models and using them to hybrid our creativity. But as long as it's just data in, ideas out, is always just going to be kind of a remix of what we already have. But I think super exciting to think about using this as an assistant to creativity over time and in the future.
Right, and just to kind of follow up with what you're talking about, so as a creative person myself, right, I do agree, whereas like what is needed is to be able to use this technology to be able to push things forward. Where the creative side comes in, I feel like a lot of times, if we're using AI for business and things like that, it can problem solve and make things quicker and all that. But again, like we're not at that point where it can itself come up with new ideas. It's always taken humans to do that. In the creative arts, though, so much of that, even in this day and age, is a lot of things are derivative of other things, right? Which is fine. I mean, that's how the arts evolve, you know, over time. But do you really think like it'll get to the point where it will be able to maybe come up? So instead of my inputting, you know, write a Jerry Seinfeld episode based on whatever, you know, or you know, create a painting, you know, that's kind of like Chagall. Do we think maybe it'll get to the point with less information? For example, like create a modern Art Deco idea about something?
It's a mind-blowing road to go down. I mean, someday will I be able to say, you know, look at all this category of musical comedies and take all this information about Mormonism, and would it be able to come up with the Book of Mormon and it be as funny as the Broadway show? I don't know, but it would probably be able to come up with a less funny version, you know, and then collaboratively we can kind of coax the comedy out of it, hopefully. But I feel like, you know, maybe it's 10 years from now, maybe it's 20 years, you know, 30 years, but eventually, I mean, I feel like we're beyond the exponential curve. At this point, you have to say yes. Eventually, it will be able to do some level of these things for sure.
I wonder what would happen if we said, you know, create a musical based on T.S. Eliot's poems about cats, and see what happened to that. So moving on to our next question is, which industries are primed for AI integration and which will likely be slow to adapt?
Right. So in terms of industries, I will say the ones that are adapting fast the AI are the ones that are at the forefront utilizing the AI, right, as an accelerator, right? I will say, of course, technological companies are there, that we know that, but industries like healthcare, they are significantly progressing a lot on this specific area, where they are using the AI for example, medical analysis, clinical trial optimization, genomics, these kind of things. And also I mentioned before the document processing. I saw a lot of use cases in the healthcare and license domain where they are using document processing, where you can extract faster all the context, understand more or less the sentiment or the documents, and also medical language. That is really, really a good advance there. Another domain, I will say, that is finance and banking, where they are really, they are leading this area right now, where they are using for fraud detection, personalized finance products, any kind of risk assessments, and so on. I really think that is a great accelerator for them. Everything around the security, that is also a piece that we don't mention too much, but I think security always is priority zero for all the companies right now, and we need to really keep safe our data, right? And you are training your models to make them, I would say, smarter, but it's important to really keep safe our data in our company. The technology companies, they have third-party tools. They have their own personal, I would say, their own company tools that they can protect your data against any kind of hacking or attack, okay? And another domain, I will say, that is the manufacturing and the robotics. Robotics for sure, but manufacturing, I saw this year, this 2023, where the companies on the manufacturing domain, they are using now, for example, supply chains, and they are using AI in the supply chains, where you can forecasting the stock in your different sites before that is going to be running out of stock. That is really, really awesome. You can understand that, and also you can order the stock before you are running out of the stock there. So I think these are the main industries. There are two more industries, but they are, I would say, behind in terms of adapting the AI technology, and that is my personal opinion based on my experience, but are the agriculture and construction. But the challenge here is the collection of the data, because it's unstructured data, and integrate this data, collect this data, transform this data to understand, get these, I will say, recommendations. This is the tough part of the process. That is what I saw. I don't know. My
Great, thank you. Yep. Next.
Yeah, I would not only cover the verticals, which was just covered, vertical market segments, but I think the maybe the obvious area that we're focused on is technology, right? I mean, AI, if you think about it, is coming from technology sectors. So the sectors that are dependent on technology, everything from your personal homes, right? I mean, Alexas and these type of personal devices are already using this technology, right? And there's a natural transition, right, from technology and how it's used, because we're processing volumes of information, right? All the communication that we have on a daily basis to the internet, and how we process this information, and information is power, right? So being able to process information and the digital transformation is a natural transition, in where you're seeing a lot of AI technology, which covers into the banking sector and the healthcare sector, et cetera. And it's just because that's a smoother transition than what we already talked about when you get into creativity, right? And that type of process, it's not that we aren't using technology there, but since the primary benefit short term is volumes of information and being able to process that and learn from that and take, corrective actions, et cetera, then the broader spectrum of just where we're maximizing digital technology, home and at the workplace, is where I see the natural, selection today being used.
And any industries where you feel like they're kind of slower to get there, or maybe won't get there at all?
Well, I think, as I said, when we're in the creativity space,
Yeah.
right, when we're in this market segments where technology is not at the forefront.
Right.
If you look at even, in the legal space, right, there's still a heavy adoption in the legal space where they're not necessarily pushing the envelope in technology, right? There's a whole, and so there's segments like that where it's going to take longer. It's going to happen, as you heard.
I agree.
It's just we're asking about where it's going to happen sooner than later, and where we're going to progress the fastest. So that's what I see.
Great deal. Thanks. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. I think any industry where there's already a great wealth of well-formatted data, is ripe for optimization with AI. Obviously, on the other end of the spectrum, we've got creative stuff is just going to take longer to get there. I think, just kind of reversing the order, talking about where, it's falling behind. I think something, not enough people think about is like heavily regulated sectors, and like, it's great that we can have self-driving cars and stuff, but if none of the insurance companies will insure them, then who knows how long it'll take for it to actually hit mass adoption. And the same could be said for robotics or warehousing or any of these things, really, where you have systems working with humans, and those humans need to be insured for something, and heavily regulated things like insurance, or you mentioned law. These other sectors are just going to take longer to create new bureaucratic structure around these new tools, especially at the pace that they're moving, right? We can barely keep up in this room, and we're all people who are in the know. We're working with these things, and we're building with them all the time. And with some industries that you would think would be laggards, like we're working with mining companies and other people like this, kind of construction adjacent type companies who have a wealth of formatted-ish data, but it's going to be healthcare and even finances and stuff, where there's this huge layer of bureaucracy in place that's not going to move out of the way anytime soon to start using these AI tools. And I think that's really going to be what slows it from having the kind of big global impact that everybody's excited / worried about. And then, as I feel like these guys covered a lot of where it's really going to optimize workflows. Logistics is a huge one too. We did a project with Shell a couple of years ago where we were working with them in Manila, trying to optimize their logistics management around the city with the worst traffic on the planet. You can imagine what kind of issue it is trying to get a truck from a warehouse to somewhere else to somewhere else. This is like ripe for AI optimization. There's all types of interesting stuff you can do there, responding to traffic patterns and things of this nature. So I think there's, lots of ripe opportunity. Regulation is going to get in the way. The creativity space, I think, is actually like more ripe for disruption than people might think. Like this writer's strike going on in Hollywood right now. Definitely, we're working with a bunch of media companies that are looking pretty heavily at ChatGPT and stuff to start writing episodes and start, getting the film industry back on track and stuff. And it does a pretty good job, it does a pretty passable job. Some TV shows are pretty poorly written, so, those writers might need to be worried. And then, on the design side for things like physical product design and manufacturing, where you're just taking a product that's already being built and adding a feature to it or something, using an AI workflow there really speeds things up, reduces margin for error, which is kind of the biggest problem in manufacturing. Architectural design as well, right? Taking a lot of the monotony out of things like architecture and engineering and being able to streamline that process. But again, it's like there'll be regulatory concerns around a building that was like designed by and engineered by AI, and will it be up to code and things? And we can use the current structures in place, but there'll also need to be a whole new set of rules that come to light, and those will take time for sure.
Yeah, and also, again, when I was in Dubai and we were talking about this subject, one of the ideas that came up, speaking of regulation, is how different countries in different sections of the world will be trying to regulate how this goes. So that'll be interesting to see how it goes. So we're getting close to time. So if you'd like to give us like a summary, kind of wrap up your ideas about this technology and where we are and where we're going, and we'll go from there.
Sure, I can start. I will say that that is something that is here, right? And we need to use it for accelerate our work. So what I see now is the companies that they are adopting AI or generative AI, they are using to optimize the daily job. So not to replace people or resources, is more optimize and I will say grow their business using this technology. I think that is the key that we need to focus on and keep the radar in these areas where we mentioned before that are now is a challenge for the AI to surpass the human intelligence, like areas where the emotions are there, the experiences are there. You need to be creative, and also maybe you need context social that the AI now they have a challenge, and keep the radar of those specific domains, because I believe the AI is getting smarter, so they are going to be there. So that is an important thing. But yeah, I will say adapt, be flexible on that, and try to find also another important thing that when I talk with my customers, I say that don't focus on a specific, I want that, I want AI, I want that AI in my company. No, don't say that. So say, this is the use case that I have. I need to fix it. I need to solve it. So based on the use case, use the technology. That is why I think it's important.
Yeah, just to give you a summary, as I mentioned at the beginning, today with our technology, the Wi-Fi automation, we're helping patient safety, right, in hospitals, right, on a daily basis. So I think we all agree there's tremendous value today and going forward with AI technology, because there's so much we can do with it, right, in advancement. There's a lot of discussion and it's probably why some of you are here, and where it's going to be in 20, 30, 50 years. And I don't think we really know, to be honest with you. No one knows. There's all kinds of opinions on this, where it's going to take over, right? Because the adoption of technology is so advanced that it will get smarter and smarter. Today, as we discussed, you know, it doesn't have the ability on the creativity learning process that humans have, the cognitive process that we have, right? So until it gets to that point, then it's going to be very challenging to get to the point where it's, you know, par with humans from that side. From a data processing, no question, right? But from a understanding the environment that we're in, like this room right now, and why we are here, and why we are covering this topic with everybody, that would be challenging for AI, right? If you replace the three of us with AI robots, right? They could cover AI technology, but to have a conversation and why we're here and what we're trying to cover gets harder and harder. So as the technology blurs, and we heard a little bit about this, where the humans and the AI come together, so we're taking kind of the best of both worlds. Now it gets very, very interesting. And I believe what's going to happen is the humans are going to get smarter, right? Because we're learning from this too. We're using this technology to learn how to adapt and process data and be more efficient, and green initiatives, like everything that we're using it for. So we're going to get smarter, and so if we get smarter, and it's kind of a race, right? But it's going to create a very interesting situation as we move forward. But if we use it to our benefit and combine it where it brings us that value, and then we can learn and adapt and be more efficient and productive in our lives, then, you know, it's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. That's also where I hope things go. I'm a very positive AI guy. You know, I'm really hoping it solves a lot of the problems that we created, you know, environmentally, socially, economically, etc. It's a lot of number crunching that needs to be done, and now it can be done a lot faster, and hopefully give us insights where, you know, it would have taken a team of researchers, you know, decades to figure it out. You know, practically today, we work with a lot of enterprise software companies and startups and stuff who are really, you know, like you were saying, they're eager just to cram that AI buzzword into whatever they're building. And I think, you know, there's some merit to that if the use case warrants it, for sure. And what we've seen is, you know, AI isn't really it's certainly not a product. Sometimes it's a feature, but most of the time it's just powering whatever you're already doing and helping you do it better. So I think companies who embrace that and are stoked to leverage AI to kind of supercharge their mission are going to win and are going to continue to go further. And the ones that don't integrate these technologies now are going to be left behind, the same way that you know, not having your product online 10 years ago was also left you behind. So it's yeah, super interesting time, super exciting time. Hopefully it's just a positive AI future.
Great. Thank you. Well, I think great way to start this conference. A major topic at hand for whatever industry that you work in. So I'd like to thank these gentlemen for giving us their time and sharing their expertise with us. A round of applause or a standing ovation would be absolutely suitable. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you all so much.